Welcome back to the channel. If you've been blitzing as much as I have for Anti-Venom the last few days, and we're looking for a few days more and a long weekend of it, then you've had a lot of time on your hands to think about something else, because it definitely doesn't take a lot of effort to keep thinking about, to work through lots and lots of blitz. Here I am at milestone 26 of 30. I really only want to get to these molecular scans at 28. Probably finish them all though, because the extra shards. If I have any chance to get Anti-Venom to 5-star, I should make the effort, and now's the time. I definitely didn't push hard for Ghost Rider last year, so I'm trying to do a little bit better this year, but I still need 80 more shards. Feels a little unlikely, but I have earned 130 so far, so maybe I can pull off 80 in the second half. We'll see. But yeah, so I've had a lot of time on my hands as I just, go into blitz, pick a team. Here we go. We'll just go with the Inhumans. Doesn't really matter who I go against because I'm staying at tier 1. I fight 4, lose 1, and do 4 more. And really wishing we had that blitz sim right now, because then I could just sim, and then fail, and then do it again, and this whole process would be even faster. I am looking forward to that, though. It means I'll be playing the game even less. So if all the once or twice a day, if I want to see some animations, if I want to see Thanos snap, I can make Thanos snap, and then I wouldn't have to do it while I chase milestones like this. But here we go. This is the only button that matters. Auto. And then after that, my brain goes to sleep. So what I've tried to do in the meantime is think about something else. So I've thought a lot about this year being, well, we're closing the year. I actually did my Christmas card today, so we're closing the year. And, there was a lot that was going to happen in the MCU and, at the start of the year that just never happened. So all that's pushing, into next year. That also means that there was things that were going to happen in Marvel Strike Force to align with the MCU, and not just the MCU, but Sony as well. And that didn't happen either. so it was really a quiet content year. Marvel Strike Force, Scopely got to do what they wanted for, big, almost the entire year. They had nothing to really align their release calendar to help support the marketing of some other larger event. These other larger events is what I've been thinking about, though, because the calendar keeps changing. I was like, where do I even find all this stuff? So I spent some time to research it, and you guys are welcome to use it. But yeah, the next thing that's coming out is WandaVision, and I think that they will tie in a team to that because of a couple of things. One, they've announced the Microverse team, and there's a rumor that the Microverse team will unlock a legendary character, and the legendary character that's being rumored is a supernatural character, and I really do hope it's Blade. So bring in Blade, take Scarlet Witch off of supernatural team, and put her into a new WandaVision team, because Vision also has no place right now. In fact, Vision makes a lot of sense if they rework Wasp and Ant-Man, and you get Yellow Jacket, and then you put Vision and Ultron on a team, and it can do something in the meantime. It's not like we really need more Blitz teams. As you can see, they just keep autoing in the background, and about time to fail one. But, yeah, so the WandaVision team would come out, the obvious ones that I think would make that team. And there could be others, but the ones that might be there would be Quicksilver, her brother, and then Wiccan and Speed, who are definitely likely to be in there. They even showed Monica Rambeau, who is another superhero. She is possibly in that series as well as, jumping in and jumping out, and, we'll see. But the ones I think they would make a team out of would be this. It'd be interesting because, obviously with Quicksilver and Speed, you would have a fast team. Fast teams can do a lot of things. So, and they're global, which I think is genuinely very interesting. So, here's time for a fail. I just don't even care who pops in. But, they'll come in, and you got to pull Blade into the supernatural team, or whoever comes out. I think it'll be Blade. I'd love for it to be Blade. That's how I'll say it that way. Next thing that comes out after WandaVision is Loki, and they can easily pull in Loki multiverse, like Lady Loki or Kid Loki, or there's all different kinds of versions of Loki that he might run into himself. as he gallivants around. We really don't know what the theme of that story, Disney Plus series is going to be, but I think there'll be a lot of options there that can be used to build out a team or build in, a few characters, and specifically Enchantress or maybe Morgan Le Fay shows up there in some of the versions. They all show up in the similar types of comic stories and comic runs over the last, since the beginning of Marvel. The first real movie that is scheduled to come out next year, though, is Morbius, which is in March. I really don't understand much about what they're trying to do with that movie and what other characters might be in there as a tie-in. So at this point, I think that it would be kind of like Venom. So Venom came out. The only character we got from Venom was Venom. Later we got Carnage. But the first one that we got was Venom, and he was with us for a while. So Morbius, probably just come out. Morbius can come out and be part of some kind of bio whatever team that they build on in the future. They got to start building some loose ends so that there are teams to work on in the future. After that, we get our first MCU movie that we've had in a really long time. I mean, even had a long time this year, we didn't even get comics. I mean, we did eventually get comics out this year after a long delay, and I'm very excited about that and happy about it. It'll help me out in a topic that we're just about to approach. But yeah, Black Widow will come out with no secret there. It's had ads that have been going for at least a year now. Well, that was a quick Asgard battle back there. I expect, we already know Red Guardian. His picture showed up in data mines. Yelena Belova would make sense. Whether or not they make a Red Room team or have those characters augment a current team, who knows? But I definitely believe there'll be some characters that come out. And that's a lot. That's all through May. You have all that WandaVision, Loki, Morbius, and Black Widow. So it's a really front-end loaded kind of thing. And the suggestions by a lot of content creators on the Marvel side in the MCU, kind of on YouTube, is that Falcon and the Winter Soldier cannot come out until after Black Widow makes her release, because it'll tie into the storyline there. So when Falcon and the Winter Soldier comes out, the character that makes up sense to come out is U.S. Agent. U.S. Agent can help fill out the Zemo team with the likely storyline that might be coming out, and that'll help. So that's kind of the first half of next year. Then you get straight into Venom and Carnage, which is in June, and Shang-Chi, which is right after that. Venom Carnage is another one where I have no idea if there's any tie-in characters that aren't already in our game that may show up in that movie. I kind of think there won't be, and there's literally no reason to, and that's probably why symbiotes are coming out now, because they were supposed to release that Venom Carnage movie. Well, it slipped, but they're just going ahead and releasing the characters, and thank goodness, because I love them. They're fantastic. But I doubt that many characters come out of the Venom Carnage movie that's scheduled for, late June next year. Whereas a couple of weeks later, in July, the Shang-Chi movie, well, I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of characters from that. So I actually even subscribe to its comic run that's going right now. It's really good. It's going to be basically like a martial arts tournament to get the Mandarin's rings. And the Mandarin, even in this comic, when it came out, has actually been retconned a little bit to be a character named Zing Zhu. Zing Zhu, not Fu Manchu, not any of the other things, with extraordinary long life. Fing Fang Foom's in there too as the dragon-ish alien that they're trying to protect the world from. And there's a lot of, like, Batroc, which was in, excuse me, who was in Captain America Winter Soldier. That was the French guy that he was fighting on that ship at the very start of the movie. He's supposed to be in there. There's possibility of other things like Omega Red and others. I mean, there's a lot that could show up in that movie, but what I expect is that we'll see Shang-Chi, definitely, the Mandarin, possibly even Fing Fang Foom. I'd love to start seeing characters who aren't all just, like, human-shaped. Like, we got Groot in there and Rocket. We have very few other characters who kind of break that mold. I mean, Fing Fang Foom could come into the game and be a dragon. That would be some kind of interesting new dynamic, at least graphically in the game, of something there. That would pave the way for folks like Beta Ray Bill another year out when we get Thor Love and Thunder and whatnot. But I think Shang-Chi is really going to shake up some things. We really don't know what Dark Dimension 4 is going to bring. We really don't know if we have the tools in our chest, or if even like recent, soon-to-be planned releases are going to help us. We'll be able to use symbiotes very well in it, probably. Like, I think symbiotes is kind of one of those safe bets for Dark Dimension 4 for part of it. But when it comes to global nodes, like, I am not yet impressed by what we don't know about the Microverse or Quantum Team. Like, maybe they're good, maybe they're not. But what I can tell you is, they do tend to release the real solution for Dark Dimensions later. Like, we didn't have a full symbiote team when Dark Dimension 3 launched. We didn't even have... I think we might have had Minerva right at the beginning of the start of Dark Dimension 2. But we certainly didn't have Corvus. Well, not Corvus. That's not the right one. I'm just blanking real quick. Ebony Maw and some of the other characters that have come out to make Dark Dimension 3 a lot easier at the start. Well, maybe they do that here, because there's going to be a lot of fantastic global characters that come out much later, like much after Dark Dimension 4 launches. So maybe there's a way to work through it, or whales can just core their way through it with what we have now. But maybe when Shang-Chi and the Mandarin come out, maybe that's how you get through it, kind of easy mode. Maybe when the Eternals come out a few months after that, they're global as well. Maybe that's an easy mode. We'll have to see. But I think that it's for sure that things like the Eternals will finally knock off the Black Order from arena dominance. Like, they will be... Like, the Black Order is an amazing cosmic team for dealing with the raids and dealing with, specific nodes and specific arena and PvP scenarios. But I think Eternals are going to come in and finally knock them off, because you can't leave the same characters there the whole time. And then there's Spider-Man 3 that's coming. I didn't even know that was theoretically coming at the end of next year. I have no idea what that's going to mean. Probably another version of the Sinister Six. It's like, hey, we haven't sold them Sinister Six since last September, October, so let's sell them more Sinister Six in November, December next year. That makes sense, right? And, like, by then, I might actually have my Dr. Octopus up and running. But yeah, this is how I've entertained myself and kind of researched and kept my brain awake while I continue to just blitz like a automaton. Just click them, find opponent, battle, let it go, open an orb here or there. So what do you think? What do you think is going to happen outside of this? I mean, there's things that could tie into the comics too. That Empire team idea could be, wiggled in here and there. I definitely think we need... An Empire team would help us with, say, Kree nodes once we have raid selector for things like Gamma. So I think we need something to boost that, or we need the Gamma raid to really be overhauled with a bunch of different tags than what it has right now, because forcing Hand and Ravager and Kree to do that many nodes, if it's on a raid selector, like that, that's just brutal. Unless we get some better Hand and Ravager and Kree synergies, or one of those is tuned toward raids, so that makes a bit more sense. We could tie into what's happening with Exo Swords right now. You could have Apocalypse come back out. You can bring in some of his original horsemen and give them swords and let them go. And I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff that could happen. But that's kind of what's been on my mind. I don't have a lot else to talk about, because I'm thinking about things like, hey, Star Trek Discovery, the third episode comes out tomorrow with when they go back to Earth 900 years in the future, from the future that they left. Or The Mandalorian season 2 starts Friday. But today is Wednesday, so I am just blitzing and wondering what's going to come to Marvel Strike Force and aligning that a bit with what I now can keep up with as the current schedule release of a lot of this Marvel content. With that said, I wish everyone a wonderful day. Stay safe. Get outside, even if it means you have to put on a bunch of extra coats. It's dropped about 40 degrees here, so I have to have coats and a nice warm hat when I go outside, but it's still nice. And take care until I see you again soon.